All right, guys, I get to share with you one that doesn't come across certainly here very often, but usually the watch crowd that I run with, you don't see this brand very often, the Longines, and this is the Conquest. And then even in the Conquest line, you typically see the VHP, the super crazy accurate perpetual calendar quartz. This one has, I think that movement is actually, they call it the L288 quartz movement that this brand uses. This one houses the L157, which is more of a traditional style quartz, three-handed, and then it has a date option. Kind of a no frills type quartz watch. The price tag is definitely going to be, quality Swiss made price tag. I think the retail on it is $750. If you jump over to Joma shop, I think you're going to be at about $550, but that's going to be new. Used market, they're going to be, cheaper yet again. This one was lent in by Nathan, and I think Nathan didn't even do most of these scratches. I think when he purchased it, it was already kind of well used. And I think that lends itself to where this watch is typically used. I think the people that buy this watch maybe don't have a ton of watches, and they bought this one because it's super legible, it's quartz, it's reliable, easy to use, but really good looking, and they just wear it. Well, when they wear it, and you wear it in all circumstances, this is the type of wear that some people will put on it. Some people are easier on their watches than others, and whoever owned this before even Nathan definitely didn't baby his watch. It was just a piece of jewelry on his wrist, and he wore it. And that is fine. That's what happens when you wear it that way. So case size, they claim on the website, they claim it's a 41 mil. I can get 41 mil, but you got to really push the caliper out here. So if you measure at trying to get the raw main circle part of the case, I think I'm just under 41 mil. So it's a good size there, not including the crown and crown guard. But the lug to lug is actually pretty long. It is 50.8, but you have some really nice turn down lugs. And overall, pretty thin for how long the lug to lug is at a 12 millimeter thickness. The lug width here, I measure 21 mil, but it's going to pretty much live on this bracelet. This is a really good bracelet. Kind of a nice H-link, but all individual components. And then, of course, that first center link is going to fold over flat, so you're going to get that comfort. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the butterfly clasp, but I can see where a lot of people like them. Really nice case back on this guy. Tons of information there, obviously. The water resist and the steel. It has the model number. And I'm not sure what all that stuff is. EFC. So if we do a close-up on the dial, you can see it's kind of an inky black, 300-meter water resist. But if you look closely, it's printed on. So like the 6 and the 12 and all the indices are printed on, and then there's some lume applied within that. But there's no lume at the 12 and 6, unfortunately. And then there is some lume on the hour and minute hand, but none of the lume is anything to be super excited about, unfortunately. You can also see, I'm sure most people are picking it out, the seconds hand does not hit most of the marks. That's kind of a bummer. I'm sure you could have a watchsmith like kind of tweak that a little bit, maybe try to get improved a little bit, but kind of is what it is, I guess, in this case. I don't think there's a way to calibrate it or anything, but pretty interesting crown. Has like that little lip on there, makes it a little easier to grab. Not that it was difficult to pull out or anything. Screw down crown, of course, with that 300-meter water resist. So let me give you a lume or a wrist shot, and then I'll give you a lume shot. Like I said, the lume is not amazing. I'm sure I would get good at butterfly clasp if I wore more often, but super comfortable on wrist, guys. Like it, thankfully it was already kind of sized for my 7 1/4 directly from Nathan. But feel on wrist is like really good. I could see where somebody would maybe purchase one of these just for a regular everyday type wear watch, because it's like I said, super legible, unassuming, but yet it also has some polished bits on it to make it stand out a little bit for an office or something like that. But it's still going to fit underneath the cuff, and it's still going to have some wrist presence with that longer lug to lug and a really nice dial size. So I'll close you guys out with a lume shot. I can show you. I think a lot of people like it. I know this watch is not a dive watch and it doesn't fit this category, but I've had a few people mention that they actually like the size comparison of the watch next to another watch, and the SKX is so popular. You can see like dial size, how much more legible it is as far as the size of it, and then the overall case size, but it's definitely thinner on wrist as well. So, and it has a nice taper, so it's going to go underneath a cuff or something if you wear long sleeves. So, all right, let's pop these studio lights off so you guys can see a lume shot, and then I am out of here because this is kind of a late video. I was trying to throw something together. So you can see nothing on that 12 and 6, disappointing, and then the lume is nothing amazing anyway. So, but overall, a really good everyday quartz watch, easily. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on the next vid. Big thanks to Nathan for lending this in. See you around.